the new way of filming. Let me get ready. All right. This is going to be the fourth video in the series of camera and photography basics. So in this video, we are going to talk about exposure triangle. For jumping from auto to manual, you have to learn exposure triangle. And this video is all about exposure triangle. Hello everybody, my name is Junaid Qureshi and I make videos about tech and creativity. If this is your first time, welcome to the channel. And if any of these things excites you, consider subscribing. Let's get back to main video. So exposure triangle consists of three things: aperture, ISO and shutter speed. Each of these settings will help you achieve proper exposure, but you have to learn what each of these settings will do. So let's start with shutter speed. Shutter speed will help you get more light into the sensor, but if you are going to increase the shutter speed, it will decrease the amount of light reaching to the sensor. For instance, if you are slowing your shutter, it means your shutter will stay open for a longer period of time, and that means more light will reach to the sensor and your pictures will get brighter. And in the opposite, if you are going to increase the shutter speed, it means the shutter will open and close so fast so the light is not going to reach to the sensor the way it was opening when your shutter was slowly opening and closing. But slow shutter will bring more motion blur into your pictures, and if you increase your shutter speed, you will stop everything where it is and your pictures will be sharp, clearer and crispier. Shutter speed slow means motion blur, and shutter speed faster means no motion blur. Coffee break. It's quite hard to continue without coffee or tea. So the next setting is aperture. Aperture is like iris of your eye. If you wide open your eye, more light will reach into your eyes. And if you squeeze or close your iris, less light will reach to your eyes. But if you have a wider aperture, means your background is blurry, and we call it background separation and depth of field. But if you increase your aperture, then most likely everything will be in focus. So in professional way, when we talk about f1.4, it means you have wider aperture. And if you take any picture with f1.4, means that your subject will be in focus, and the closest part of your subject will be in focus, and then it start getting blurry and the background will be all dissolved and blurry beautifully. And when you increase your aperture like f8, f9 or maybe f22 or f16, everything will be in focus. You can see what is happening behind the subject. So this is what aperture is. So wide aperture, blurry background, depth of field. Low aperture, sharp picture, less depth of field. And the third and the last setting is ISO. ISO is the sensitivity of your camera to the light. If you increase your ISO, you will get more light in your shots, and if you decrease ISO, you will get less light into your camera. But if you are going to increase the ISO, chances are you are going to get so much grain in your pictures. So lower ISO means darker and clear picture, and higher ISO means brighter and noisy picture. As simple as that. So now you have learned all three components of exposure triangle. Now it's very easy for you to understand that how you are going to move from auto to manual. For instance, if you decide to shoot a subject with blurry background, then what should be the settings? Your f-stop should be as minimum as possible with your lens. If it's f1.4, then f1.4. If it's f2.8, then f2.8. So one thing is locked. You have locked your iris, your aperture at f1.4. Then when it's wide open, means your shot is too bright. Then second thing is your ISO. You are going to keep your ISO as low as possible, and that's in most cameras 100. Sometimes it goes to 50 as well. So let's keep it to 100 so you don't get any noise in your shot. So two things are now locked: f1.4 aperture and ISO 100. So now what else left? It's all your shutter speed. Now you can play with your shutter speed. On your camera screen, you can easily see that if you increase your shutter speed, your shot will get darker, and if you decrease your shutter speed, your shot will get more brighter. So in a controlled environment like the studio, you can control everything. I mean, if you decide to shoot with f1.4, ISO 100 and shutter speed at 1:60, then your shot must be very bright. So you can control these lights by increasing or decreasing the power of your light to get the right exposure. But what happens if you are outdoors? You cannot control light, and still you want to shoot in f1.4. And for some reason, you want to keep your shutter speed at 1:60 or 1:50. Here another thing comes, and it's a component. This is called ND filter. In next video, I'll talk about it. So I guess that you have learned something from this video, and it's very easy for you to go out and shoot and lock any of two components and play with one with in any environment. First thing is your aperture, and second thing is your ISO, and play with your shutter speed. And in next thing, just fix your shutter speed and ISO and play with your aperture to bright or dark your picture. So this is it for today. I hope you have learned something in this video. If you like today's video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Till then, peace.